video, and I'm glad it is because it is really going to hurt the globalists. You support us and the filmmakers when you buy it at Infowars.com. And then also you can still get the Alex Jones Everything special. In fact, that's not even all 18 of them stacked up there. You can get all 18 of my films on DVD for $99.95. That's over 70% off. Give the gift of truth this Christmas and into the new year. And, of course, expanding on that, you can still give a Christmas present this year and support our transmission. Almost 9 years of material, a higher quality audio podcast and video podcast commercial free. All of my films, expanded extras, my ebook, Paul Watson's ebook, and many others. All the expanded extras from films, the nightly news, the daily radio/TV show, Alex Jones Live. Nobody in the fight against the globalists is putting out this much information and having this big of an effect. And it's all at Prisonplanet.tv, our own platform. And then when you fund it by being a member for 15 cents a day, or get a yearly membership, it's even less right now, 44% off. Or there's a 15-day free trial you can also try at Prisonplanet.tv. You fund our operation, which then disseminates it out. You know, people are like, well, why should I be a member for 15 cents a day if you post most of it on YouTube? Well, that's the whole point. It's here. It's our platform, so it's harder to shut down and censor. You see it first. It's all in one spot, but then much of it, the films and things, are put on the web, so they can be seen tens of millions of times. So, and we're only beta testing and growing it right now. We've already got TV offers and things, just I'm not ready yet. And we're hiring some more crew, thanks to your support, and we're beta testing and reaching millions while we do it. So, Prisonplanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com. Sign up today, and a little secret, just don't use a passcode you use for your bank account or something. Make a easy-to-remember username and passcode. We allow 6 people to log in with the same username and passcode simultaneously. So you can go give yourself a Prisonplanet.tv membership, put it in an e-card, send it to friends and family, or write it in a card. Tell them, go to Prisonplanet.tv to see all these great films and nightly news, hardcore information that'll wake you up, or forbidden info is a good way to get them to watch it, because it is. And then give them the username and passcode. So go to Prisonplanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com. Type this in. You can see all the films, the shows, all of it right there. So give yourself the gift of truth, support our transmission, and then share it with a few friends and family. So, I mean, it's a great Christmas gift. You can still give. Prisonplanet.tv. Okay, let's get into some of this news so I can get back to your calls before our next guest comes on. Here it is. CNN poll. Ron Paul, most popular Republican amongst non-whites. And they dug through thousands of newsletters to find a few things that are kind of flippant. But for mainline Republican stuff, this is nothing. I mean, they say terrible racist stuff all the time, and that's just fine and dandy. This is stuff like, well, when the blacks will stop rioting in South Central when the welfare checks arrive. And then Paul, decades ago, said he didn't write that. Some bad things, you know, that were in the FBI files, who knows if they're true, about probably aren't. Martin Luther King, you know, sex with, you know, people or whatever. And that came out 5 years after Paul had voted to put Martin Luther King Day out there and had given speeches about how he admired Martin Luther King standing up against tyranny. And Paul reportedly got really mad. And I know Ron Paul. I know all the lore. I've known his whole crew, the different crews. I know all the inside baseball. I'll never talk. But a lot of good people. The point is, Ron Paul is the real deal. He doesn't sell out. He doesn't care what people think about him. So if he didn't like Martin Luther King, he would tell you. You understand that? So the point is, it's all bull. But they're using it because they're desperate. They keep saying he can't win. You're not listening to the mind control. Now looks like he's going to be in first in New Hampshire and Iowa. He's come up second or first, depending on which poll you see, in Nevada. Those articles are at Infowars.com. It's meteoric, and it shows how big the awakening is. They keep saying in the news, troops don't like him because he doesn't want to keep the wars going. 70+% of all presidential donations in both parties for Obama and the other 7 Republicans go to him. It's all hoaxes. I'm not going to give it attention because it's what they want, and I could definitely win a lawsuit against them. But there is a Dallas publication that I remember 6 months ago implied I was working for the communist Chinese. I mean, it was bizarre. And it's a mainline publication. Today they said, well, Ron Paul hangs out with the known racist who hates black people, Alex Jones. the hardcore racist. And I saw that and I thought, man, I don't have time to sue this guy. But I mean, if I don't, what next is he going to say? I support the NDAA bill, getting rid of bestiality or something, and I'm raping possums. I mean, it's that ridiculous. But I looked at every comment. I'm a military in Afghanistan. You can eat bleep. Alex Jones is great and fights racism and blah, 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 and stands up for the little guy. You scum. I mean, and I didn't even have time to read the 50-something comments. I just scanned through them. Everyone was going, you're a yellow journalist, trash. You ought to get sued. Nobody buys you. But, I mean, that's what they're resorting to. Alex Jones works for the Chinese government. Alex Jones hates black people. I mean, what? I mean, they are getting really desperate. Like that headline in CBS News. Alex Jones, Ron Paul likes Alex Jones, and Alex Jones says they put stuff in the water to make you gay. I read the BBC and Associated Press about gender bending and men having higher estrogen and it changing their different glands in their bodies, confusing sexual activity, but also in every other mammal that is in the food chain now. I mean, that's just, I was reading BBC, but that's how they spin it. I'm reading BBC on air. You can type in right now, gender bending chemicals into Google, changing men and women's physiology. I also covered breast cancer increasing, but by the time they're done, the big homophobe says you're gay because they put it in your water. I mean, this is what they do. This is how they attack science, how they attack research. Oh, I saw Bloomberg, CBS, ABC, just literally hundreds that I can't even have time to read all of them, saying Ron Paul is just terrible. He went on Alex Jones' show and said there's a plan to use the military against the people in martial law. It's totally insane. Meanwhile, across the political spectrum, constitutional lawyers say this makes the government a dictatorship and allows them to kill citizens. Just absolute nightmare. And they're all over the news. I mean, you type Alex Jones, Ron Paul in. Just to find these, there's hundreds every day. But then and I agree with the caller. I mean, it's going to backfire on them. But see, they just want you to think Ron Paul's been destroyed when they start stealing the elections with the black boxes. But you say, well, then why vote? Why? Because we're going to expose that. And because Ron Paul running exposes them. And if he gets such a big landslide like with Rand Paul and it totally backfires, they won't be able to steal it. They can only steal by small margins from top experts in my own research. We'll get Bev Harris back on if you want from Black Box Voting to go over that. But this is it. And this is how they operate. And as you can see, and I told you when he went into first place over the weekend, I said, get ready to hear that he's a Ku Klux Klan Grand Dragon. I mean, get ready to hear he is. And they're like, this crazy racist. I actually saw an article saying this crazy racist Ron Paul thinks that AIDS was created to kill black people. I mean, they even write crazy oxymoron stuff. It's like, who are these people they hire? And mainstream articles have spelling errors and jumbled stuff all over it. I mean, who are, I guess, to hire traitors, because a lot of good media people have left the mainstream media. That's another reason there's a brain drain out of the dinosaur media, and that's why the alternative media is now the media. Like that reporter we had on Mr. Hunter yesterday. He's worked for CNN, ABC Nightly News, all of it. And look at him, he's over there making more money, reaching more people, being an in front of the camera reporter and writer than he ever did working for them, and he's not compromising. And he said, Alex, they're not the mainstream media anymore. We are. And you know what? That's true. That's why they're panicking. They may sit up there in some $20 million studio, and we're in our, $200,000 studio, and it's all flashy, and they got some person in a $3,000 suit. It doesn't matter. You could dress up a rotten, pig or something in a suit. It's still going to have maggots crawling out its eyes. I'm going to your calls here. I just wanted to go over some of this. Neocon says Ron Paul would appease Hitler and the Nazis. That's an Infowars article. I mean, they're saying he loves Nazis now. Twilight Zone, USA Today story about Ron Paul leading an Iowa headline. Ron Paul is still not in the lead. They admit he's in the lead, but they say that doesn't matter. Just like the governor said, a vote for him isn't real. He's just saying your vote doesn't count. New rules make it possible for Republican establishment to steal nomination from a candidate they don't like. They've changed that now so they can come in and basically steal it. The following rule was adopted by the Republican Party. Any presidential primary caucus convention or other meeting held for the purpose of selecting delegates to the National Convention, which occurs prior to the first day of April in the year in which the National Convention is held, shall provide for the allocation of delegates on a proportional basis. And it goes into how they can then manipulate that. Here's another one. CNN lobs veiled charges of racism at Ron Paul. Got the video up at Infowars.com. It goes on and on and on. Let's go back quickly to Mike and then to Dale. Mike in Canada. Okay, your point's on Ron Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, even if the first time you ever heard of Ron Paul was looking at his newsletter things, after a couple of links, you'd get right to Prisonplanet. You'd get to his answers in the debate, and you would realize if, especially if you're already skeptical of the mainstream news. And I got your shirt that says the answer to 1984 is 1776, and I think Ron Paul is 1776. You bet he is, and that's why they're pulling out all the stops. I mean, look at Rand. He wasn't connected to a few newsletters they dug out of tens of thousands, and they had people dressed up in hayseed outfits saying racist things and saying they supported him, and it turned out they were on the person he was running against campaign. I mean, they are going to do everything they can. Again, the whole liberal system is about divide and conquer. They're always claiming, oh, we're friends. What did Margaret Sanger say? She said, we got to pose as liberals. We got to hire black leaders so we can kill these weeds. We got to get them aborted. We're going to have to pose as liberals. And she was a confidant of Adolf Hitler. Again, I mean, of course Ron Paul's newsletters had disdain for the welfare class, both corporate and private, and talked about people on welfare and stuff. Again, there's a difference between Ron Paul. You watch him in those different talk show, TV shows he went on that are on YouTube, Morton Downey Jr. and all the rest of them. And people get up and say, how dare you not want to attack other countries and have a giant military and want to and legalize drugs? You know, you're a traitor. You know, we need to, and he would get up and say, well, you're fat. You know, maybe the government should come make you not be fat. You know, I mean, Ron Paul used to be really aggressive. Let's go ahead and go to, I appreciate your call, Mike. Let's go to Dale in Kansas. Dale, you're on the air. Oh, listening on XM channel 166. Welcome, sir.
Well, good to be here. I have some information that was handed to me or told to me the other day that surprised me. I have some friends in Arkansas, and they told me that they were talking to somebody, the contractor that is building the Urban Assault Training Center at Fort Chaffee, Fort Smith, Arkansas, as we speak.
Uh-huh.
They're building this thing, and it's an assault center so that they're training people to go into your neighborhoods.
Oh, yes, sir. We have that going back decades where it's American neighborhoods. The role players say, I'm an American, don't take my guns. That's in my police state films. And guys, search Fort Chaffee Urban Assault Center. But, yes, they're building giant urban assault centers everywhere. And they have dual use for other countries. But the main focus, and all armed services for at least 5 years have dropped everything and are training even the mechanics and logistics people in urban warfare, mount, and crowd control for America. And yes, sir, it's all public. What did they think of that?
I don't know. When I heard it, it just kind of shocked me because I've listened to you